just last week or even a few days ago, it was not possible to think that the Ayatollah, the supreme leader of Iran, would be normal.
Iranian state media has now confirmed that the nation's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was killed on Saturday morning at the start of the war launched by the US and Israel.
This feels like deja vu because it's a situation that a lot of people have seen unfold in so many different ways. There's a very big difference between reacting to an immediate threat and choosing a strategic moment to strike. And as we've seen, the United States and Israel were simply waiting for an opportunity to strike Iran. They use the word preemptive. Now, if you really look at the word preemptive, what does preemptive mean? In this context, it simply implies an attack was about to happen and could not be avoided. But if you really look at it, like I said, Iran wasn't even a threat at that time when the United States and Israel attacked. But Iran was basically on its knees. Now, not only economically, socially, there were so many protests, and most of the factions were divided. And so many things were happening to the point that I'm sure the intelligence from the United States and Israel must have gathered and seen that it was at its weakest point. It was very vulnerable. And what a time to actually attack Iran. This is like hitting somebody that is on the ground and making sure that they are really...
Well, you answered this question. We negotiated with the United States twice in the past 12 months. And in both cases, they attacked us in the middle of negotiation. And that has become a very bitter experience for us. In last June, we were negotiating. We had 5 rounds of negotiations, and we had already fixed the 6th round for 15 June when the Israeli attacked us, and then the US joined the attack. And this time, we had 3 rounds. Last Thursday, we had a very good discussion, very good talks in Geneva. Both Iranian and the US delegation were happy at the end of 7 hours of negotiations. And I can go into the details of what we agreed and how a deal was at our reach. And when we concluded, the Omani foreign minister, who was the impartial intermediator between us, he concluded by saying in his post that we made significant progress this time. We were able to come to a good understanding on some of our differences. Some other differences were left for the next meeting, and we decided to go for Vienna, to send our technical teams to Vienna on Monday, which means tomorrow, to go to the IAEA and with the help of the International Atomic Energy Organization, try to find technical solutions for the political problems. And we both believed, the both delegations believed that this is possible. So a deal was at our reach, and we left Geneva happily with the understanding that we can reach a deal next time we meet. And it was very unfortunate that those who are against peace, against diplomacy, against negotiation, when they understood that diplomacy is going on well, they decided to spoil it, and they created a build-up in the media, against the Islamic Republic of Iran, against, the desires of us, against, and they made lots of accusations against us. They created false information and disinformation, and they finally get to their, to what they wanted. They dragged President Trump, they convinced President Trump to attack us unprovoked and unwarranted.
So this is what has happened. So if we look at preemption traditionally requires credible evidence of an imminent, unavoidable strike. Nothing to do with the long-term hostility or suspicion. So using the term preemption here would have suggested something like Iran was developing a nuclear capability, to the point that it was a threat to other nations. But this was not even the case, because we saw last year, in 2025, I think it was late last year, Mr. Donald Trump attacked Iran. And when it attacked Iran, it was very clear, it was all well announced, it was all in the papers, that Iran's nuclear program had been obliterated. So that means it was completely wiped off. So the question now remains, if that was the case, if Iran's nuclear program was wiped off completely, why then attack Iran now in a preemptive kind of approach? And I think this is where a lot of critics will say, well, there was no reason to attack Iran. This was something that was unavoidable. But again, if you look at the United States foreign policy as well as the Israelis, this is an opportunity that they have been waiting for, because of the fact that Iran has always been accused of being a threat to the United States. And recently, Iran, as the Israeli put it, have been supporting the Palestinians. And so Iran was basically seen as a terrorist group in that sense.
In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular, my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They've rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore.
As we all know, timing in geopolitics is really accidental. This is something that the United States and Israel has been planning for years and years, and perhaps even under so many different regimes within the United States. So Iran has been under severe economic pressure, the currency collapse and sustained inflation strain. And, Iran is a country that has been under long-term sanctions. They've had restrictions on its oil revenues and access to global banking systems. They've been affected at so many different levels. They really wanted this man to go. And it's disappointing to see, sometimes that doing such kind of actions will always lead to the suffering of many people, millions, and not just in one instance, but even in many years to come. So as a disclaimer, I'm just going to say this is just for educational purposes. This is by in no way supporting any particular group, whether it's the United States or Israel or whether it's Iran. This is just me airing my views, and hopefully I stay in the middle with this. So if this is your first time joining me, my name is NB, and this is War We Are Reclaiming. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.